Hey everybody, welcome to my channel Manador Games, and today's video I'm going to be talking about my favorite way to play Magic, and that's going to be Commander. And this video is specifically aimed at newer players asking the question of what deck should I play. So in this video I'm going to be talking about the top 5 best commanders for new players. Commander, in my opinion, is the best way to play because you get to gather around with a group of friends, 3 other friends, and play the cards that you love. It doesn't really matter if they're the most efficient cards, like in a competitive format, but you just get to play the cards that you like, and ultimately that's what Commander's about. But in this video, I'm going to help try to give you some direction and some tips about decks to look at for your first deck. And first up is going to be an honorable mention, and that is Nekusar the Mindrazor. He gets an honorable mention because he's an easy commander to play, but he's very straightforward. He'll do a lot of damage from just staying on the battlefield. This is because commander players build their decks to draw cards. Commander of all formats is going to be drawing the most cards. And anyone who wants to draw those massive amounts of cards, Nekusar is going to punish them for doing that. It's not rare for Nekusar to be able to kill all 3 players in one turn. And the reason that he doesn't make my actual top 5 lists is because he's just so straightforward. And for a video for newer players, I wanted to be able to give them decks that they can change over time and adapt to the way that they find they like to play. So, an honorable mention, Nekusar the Mindrazor. Alright, so number 5 on my list is Rabina Soulsinger. And while she's not as powerful as some of the other commanders on our list, she's on the list because she lets you play a very interesting game. As a new player, I would remember times when people would play a creature and everyone at the table would go, uh-oh. So being a new player, I had to ask. I had no idea what was going on. I had to ask, why did you guys react like that? What makes that card so dangerous? And this commander, this deck, is going to be concerned with taking other people's things, playing their good stuff, taking control of it, playing control magic. And this is going to let you identify those strong cards when people play them. You're going to be able to do something about them. You're going to say, give me that. I'm going to take that for myself. And you might find something that piques your interest this way. You see something strong, that big Eldrazi, and you say, let me take that for a test drive. I'm going to try that. And you may find some of your favorite cards this way. This is number 5 on my list because a warning about it is you're really going to have to work on and solidify a way to actually win the game with this deck. Being able to play other people's stuff is cool, but just taking their best pieces might not actually win you the game. So this could be using something like Beastmaster's Ascension to pump up all the big creatures you've stolen and then hit them hard with that, or you can just attempt to gain a bunch of life and win with a card like Felidar Sovereign. But number 5 is Rabina Soulsinger. Number 4 on my list is Vivictus Asmati the Dire. So this bad boy is a big Elder Dragon. He's where our format gets our name, Elder Dragon Highlander, EDH. So this dragon is focused on getting the most out of sacrificing your small creatures to get your bigger creatures out, while making your opponent sacrifice their best creatures and hopefully get nothing in return. Oh, I should probably read the cards. So I'll put them up on the screen. But Vivictus Asmati says, flying, and whenever he attacks, for each player, choose a target permanent that player controls. Those players sacrifice those permanents. Each player who sacrificed a permanent this way reveals the top card of their library, then puts it onto the battlefield if it's a permanent card. So if it's an enchantment, artifact, creature, land, they'll be able to put it on the battlefield. So he's costs 3 mana, a black, red, and green for a 6/6 flying dragon with this awesome ability. He's a big dragon and he's going to do big things. So I think this deck is a lot of fun because it's the right kind of chaos. It changes the game up where you never know what exactly people are going to flip. It could be something worse than you just destroyed. But that's pretty fun, I think. And he's also nice because he gets around things like Indestructible, which can be really hard to deal with. And Jund, the combination black, red, green, is a combination that is, I guess, notorious for being filled with these awesome cards. So build you a deck, fill it with these awesome Jund cards, and turn your 1/1 goblin into a huge 12/12 monster. Number 3 on my list is Ruric Thar, the Unbowed. And he costs 4, a red and a green, so 6 total. He has Vigilance, Reach, and he attacks each combat if able. He also has, whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, he deals 6 damage to that player, and he's a 6/6. So, he's on my list because he is both extremely deadly and incredibly budget. He can be built on a very small budget. I've seen Ruric Thar decks that are under $10. So this is a great deck to get into Commander without having really to commit to these bigger priced decks. And he's going to do a ton of damage by just being on the board, and your opponents are going to have to play their decks differently. They're going to think, do I really play this spell to draw 2 cards and take 6 damage? It's something that changes the dynamics of the game. And this is really for the person who wants to play a bunch of creatures that hit for a lot of damage and to punish all those players that want to play artifact decks or to play their combo pieces. So I would not recommend that you just build your deck around creatures. There are a number of good spells in red and green that you can take advantage of. But instead, I would recommend that you mostly build around creatures and then fill in the gaps of what your deck needs. Make sure to include some protection for Ruric Thar, and over the game, run effects that guarantee an overwhelming victory. So this is, again, things like Overrun. Overrun itself pumps up their creatures +3/+3 and then hit hard for that. Number 2 is currently the number 1 played commander, according to EDHREC. And that is Muldrotha the Gravetide. So, Muldrotha is 3 mana, 1 black, 1 green, 1 blue, 6 total, for a 6/6, and it says, during each of your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. So, the reason I put this card on the list is, number 1, obviously, it's a good commander. It's the number 1 played right now. I think that it's good for a newer player because it functions well, even if you don't make the optimal play with your deck. Because you can get so much value repeatedly playing your enchantment creature, sacrificing it, getting that value out of it. You're going to be able to keep up with the more experienced players who have played their deck hundreds of times. You're going to be able to draw those cards, do that damage, destroy things. And it's a good way to learn about permanent types. And then third is that this deck can be upgraded. as your understanding of the game and as your collection grows. You can build it on a budget at first. Just get it with cards that you open up in packs. Put those in there, you'll be able to get good value out of it. But maybe you open a Fiend Artisan at a draft and you say, that would be good in my Muldrotha deck. You put it in and your power level of your deck goes up. And as your understanding of the game changes, you'll be able to adapt it and find the way you like to play. It's an awesome way, I think, to get into the game of Magic, to build with cards that you think are cool. And as you learn about the game, your deck will evolve as your taste in cards evolves as well. So number 1 for the best commander for a new player is any tribal commander. So tribal describes creature types in Magic. When I say tribal commander, I mean things like vampires, merfolk, zombies, angels, dragons, or cats and dogs even. I think this is the best deck for a new player because you can build your deck around something that you really enjoy. For example, my first deck was a Grim Grin zombie tribal deck. And I just wanted to have as many zombies as possible in that deck. And this is the best option because you know at least you enjoy the concept of your deck. It may not play exactly like you thought at first. Like especially angels, I think of. Angels cost a lot of mana to play. And they're big. And you may really like them. But it may not work exactly how you think. But you're going to be invested in the angels. And you'll change your deck to make it play how you want it to. While still keeping those things you care about. And ultimately, this game is about having fun. Find a commander that you really enjoy and are excited about. And don't let anyone say, oh man, this dude's playing Merfolk Tribal. Don't let them say that. Just enjoy your deck, enjoy what it does, and of course, make it better as you see it needs to be made better. But enjoy it. Enjoy the game and just have fun. And last, I just want to say welcome to Commander. It's a great way to play Magic. There's a ton of people in the community that are great people and can help you with all the questions you have. And there's so many options that you'll never run out of things to do. So, what do you think your first Commander deck will be? Let me know in the comments, or if you've already made your deck, what was your first Commander? I'd love to know. So, thanks for listening, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Peace.